What's good, YouTube? Nova here, bringing you guys my Phantom Knight deck. Alright, so let's just go. We're going to go through this pretty quickly. We got 3 copies of the Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak. This card is really good. His onboard monster effect is kind of irrelevant. Basically, when he's in attack position, you change him to defense position. Then you can target one dark monster. And then that monster gains 800 attack and defense. Kind of irrelevant. You'll almost never use that effect. Unless you're going to get over something. And it's kind of irrelevant. His main effect, though, is when he's in the graveyard, you can banish him. And then you can add the Phantom Knight card. So any of the monsters or the spells or traps. So that's about it. He's just more or less the searcher of the monsters, though. Because the Phantom Knights of Silent Boots, he's really good. He has the effect, if you control Phantom Knight's monster, you can special summon him from your hand. So that's really good. Easy rank 3 plays. But also when he's in your graveyard, you can banish him to add a Phantom Knight spell or trap to your hand. From your deck to your hand. So really good. Because he searches the spells, and Cloak searches the monsters. So it's fairly easy to get most of your Phantom Knight cards. And then 3 copies of the Phantom Knights of Ragged Gloves. Ragged Gloves is a little interesting in the deck, because Ragged Gloves is basically when you exceed someone, a dark Xyz monster, using him as a material, it gains an effect of it gains 1,000 attack. So if you make Breaksword, it comes out as a 3k instead of a 2k. But also, when he's in the graveyard, you can banish him, and he's kind of like a foolish burial for Phantom Knight cards. So that's not too bad. You get to send your traps to the grave. Pretty useful. Zen monsters, pretty useful. That's it for Phantom Knights. Just the 9. It's pretty standard. You don't really want to play any more than those 9, because to me the level 4 ones aren't that great. Other than maybe the one that lets you add from grave to hand, that's pretty good, but if he was level 3, he'd be much better. Moving into the other level 3 engine, we're playing 3 copies of Terror Top. This card is amazing. Like, if you're not playing this in the deck, I don't know what you're doing. This card, just the ability to special summon this, and then search another any Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand except for him, is pretty amazing, because that's a special summon. Which combos really good with any of your normal summonable Phantom Knight monsters. So that's really helpful if you have like with 2 Ragged Gloves, or like a Ragged Gloves and a Cloak, and you don't have boots, and you have Terror Top. He still counts as an extra Xyz material. He allows you Xyz summon more. Plus, also he gets this effect when he's special summoned or normal summoned. So if you have him as your only card, you can normal summon him and add one of your 2 copies of Talk Emborg. Now, I like 2 Talk Emborg in this deck because if you control a wind monster, you can just special summon him. So like you can combo with him with Terror Top, really easy. But also, I play 2 because I am playing a slight mill version of this deck. So if you end up milling, if you're playing 1 copy and you mill it, you're going to be crying, because then all 3 of your Terror Tops can't search you anything. But if you're playing 2, it gives you better chances to at least use one of them to maybe 2. So that's it for the Speedroid engine. I didn't want to play the dice because I felt like the dice was kind of irrelevant. I mean, if you can't special summon Terror Top, you might as well just normal summon them and add the Talk Emborg and then special summon the Talk Emborg. It's pretty much the same thing. For the small engine, though, for the other small engine, I'm playing 3 copies of Raiden, Hand of the Lightsworn. This guy is more or less in here when you have a bad hand. You can normal summon him, mill 2, and then, mill 2, and then end phase mill 2. So it's very good, but he's also a tuner, so it combos really good with the deck, with being able to make a lot of level 7s, even level 10s. Like Leo. So basically, you can combo this card really well with Speedroid Terror Top, because you special summon Terror Top, search Talk Emborg, special summon Talk Emborg, normal summon Raiden, mill 2, and then synchro all of them into either Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Trees, or if you already have 2 Phantom Knight monsters in the graveyard, you can make Breaksword, detach, pop Breaksword and another card, and then you can bust out number 86. with 3 materials. So that's fairly good. So he's pretty, Raiden's pretty useful. And then for the last two monsters, I'm playing 2 Lumina. Lumina's really good because you can just discard a card. So you can discard a Phantom Knight monster and then target another Lightsworn monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So this, even if Lumina's in grave, you can go Lumina, discard a card, special summon Lumina, and then if the card you discarded was a Phantom Knight's card, you could banish the Phantom Knight's card to add a card back to hand or set Foolish a card. So she's really good. Plus, being able to go bring back Raiden effect, Mill 2, Synchro up is really useful. She makes for really good plays, and you can make Black Rose and continue going off in this deck. So very good. That's it for the monsters. It's 19 monsters. Moving into spells, playing 3 copies of Twin Twister. The reason I played 3 Twin Twister over playing like Galaxy Cyclone, because this is a mill deck. I thought this card was better because if you open with this card, it's a lot better than Galaxy Cyclone. But it's also worse because it can be a discard outlet to any of your Phantom Knights, which then blows up 2, and then you can banish the Phantom Knight monster, add cards to your hands. So it's not even a minus at that point. It's pretty much a free blow up 2. But the reason I played at 3 is so just in case you do end up milling a couple of them, you will still at least see one of them. Then I'm playing 2 copies of Charge of the Light Brigade. This card is just a basic searcher for your Light Swarms. The mill 3 can be very good because if you mill 3 and you hit into certain cards, you can combo off. Like if you mill, if you have like Terratop this, and you mill 3, if you mill like 2 Phantom Knight monsters, you can make a Break Sword play into a number 86 with 3 materials, or you can just go for Leo. Depending, you can just go for Leo. So very good, just a general searcher. I'm then playing 2 Dark Holes and 1 Raigeki. The board clearing is just really good overall because, board clearing is really good. The Raigeki is decent with blowing up all of your opponent's cards and then making like a big break sword and swinging direct. Or even like if you have, I don't know, like Dark Hole can work if you have like a break sword and your opponent negates effects. You can Dark Hole the board, destroy your own break sword, and then you still get the break sword's effect. So just different ways to help set up. Plus nuking your opponent's board and then being able to swing, like swarm the field with like 3 Xyz monsters or like Xyz and a Synchro, and then attack for like pretty much a game. It's pretty good like that. I'm also playing for I'm playing 1 Rhoda just because you have the all the Phantom Knights, so 9 targets plus the 3 Raidens are still targets. So overall, Phantom Knights, the reinforcement armory, very good. 1 Foolish Burial. You have 9 cards in the Phantom Knights, so foolishing them is pretty useful. And then last card is 1 Allure of Darkness. I just wanted some draw power if you draw into like a pretty dead hand. Like if you have like I don't know, like Ancient Cloak and Ragged Gloves, and that's it. You don't really have any plays. So Allure of Darkness is kind of there just to help fix that play. So that it should be, if I counted correctly, it should be 11 spells. So that's 10 traps. For 1-off traps, I'm playing 1 Warning, just because, you know, it's a pretty big one. 1 Grand Horn, it's really good with anything when your opponent special summons, like Pendulum monsters. Pendulum deck's really good. Even when playing against the Mirror, stopping that play, stopping the first special summon, and then making them go into their main phase 2 is a really huge. 1 Bottomless. I'm still a fan of the Bottomless because I still think it's a really good card, and why not? Plus, I don't own Solemn Strike, so. And then 1 copy of Time Space Trap Hole. Just because Time Space is actually really good too when your opponent special summons a monster. Paying 1,000 life points isn't so bad in this deck because this deck doesn't really pay any life points. So if you have to pay like 3,000 to deal with 3 cards, return them to the deck, it's not too big. Like that, you're not gonna be in such a bad situation. So that's it for the 1-offs. And then I'm playing 3 copies of the Phantom Knight Sword. This card is pretty good. Overall, basically you could activate it by targeting 1 face-up monster on the field, either players. It gains 800 attack and defense, and then if that target would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can destroy this card instead. So it's kind of like my monster gets 800 points bigger, and then, which is good because you can sometimes swing over things. Or if your opponent activates like a card like Dark Hole, you can chain it, and then you can pop the Phantom Knights and it doesn't die. So it's kind of nice. You can also do that if you Dark Hole in your own board. So just ways to get around it. But what the card's main effect is, when this card's in the graveyard, you can banish it to special summon the Phantom Knight's monster in your graveyard and special summon it. But it's banished it when it leaves the field. So, okay, but that's really good to be a free monster reborn. It also fixes, like, if you have one monster in hand and you have a guy in grave plus that, you just banish special summon and you can go off. So pretty good. And then the last card is 3 copies of Phantom Knights of Fogblade. This card is really good. Basically, it's a Fiendish Chain, but I can't attack that, but I can't target that monster for an attack. And it also has the graveyard effect, similar, the same effect to Phantom Knight's Sword, where you can banish it to be a monster reborn, but banish it when it leaves the field. So very good. Very, very good effects. Moving on into the extra deck, we've got obviously the 3 copies of the Phantom Knights of Breaksword. This card is really good just because of its basically it's 2 level 3 monsters that you can you basically detach 1 Xyz material, target 1 card on the field on either, well, 1 card on your opponent's side of the field, 1 card on your field, destroy them both. That's really good. He's like a Cyber Dragon, but much better, because when he's destroyed by any means, like literally any means, if you destroy him, your opponent destroys him, or he destroys himself, you get this effect. You get to target 2 of the Phantom Knight monsters in your graveyard. Doesn't matter, they can have the same names. You get to special summon, but they become level 4 monsters, which gets irrelevant with some level 4 monsters. But the exception to that is you can only special summon dark monsters for the rest of the turn. So it's kind of fair though. And then moving on, I'm playing 2 copies of Dante. I'm playing a little mill, so I was just gonna play a little extra mill in this deck, and actually dropping this card in defense, milling 3, and then sometimes hitting like Phantom Knight cards is really good. Plus he can swing as a 25 beater. He can swing pretty good. 1 Levier, because Levier is pretty good. I mean, there is still some like, you do banish your monsters, so the ability to get them back is really useful. 1 Zen Mains, just to, you know, sit on him. If you don't know what your opponent's playing, he's a good bet to just sit on in defense position and let him just wait till see what your opponent's playing, or stall out for a few turns. 1 number 47 Nightmare Shark, like the MVP of the extra deck. When you drop your opponent down to like 2,000 or less attack, this guy's like game winning. So if your opponent's playing like 3 Solemn Strikes and Solemn Warning, and he plays 2 of them, chances are all you gotta do is make him and game him. So basically all you're gonna deal with is the back row, and then you're gonna make him and then swing direct. So that's that. So very good. Alright, and I'm only playing 2 Dark Xyz that are rank 4s. I felt that playing 3 was a little bit too much. I'm playing 1 Dark Rebellion. Pretty much when you Break Sword, blow up back row, make this guy, detach 2, and then you can target the monster and cut this guy's attack. And then cut that guy's attack in half, add it to him. He's always a 25 direct. So very good. And then I'm playing 1 number 86, the Heroic Champion guy. This guy's very good. Like, the amount of times you can finish with Raiden, Break Sword, is really big. So being able to just make this guy, even with 3 materials, is really huge. As a 3K that can attack directly, and that's unaffected by other cards, is really good. On top of that, when you bust him out with Ragged Gloves, he's actually 4K. So when he runs out of materials, he's still a 15 beat stick. So very useful. And I'm playing 1 Downer Magician. I felt like still just playing the Downer was really good to put over top of your Dante when you run out of materials. It's pretty good. You can put him over, I don't know, if Braysword like gets Fiendish Chain or something, or Fogblade if you're playing the mirror, you can just put Downer over top of him in the main phase too. Just some different things you can do. Even Leviathan Dragon is very good to put over. And then I'm playing 4 Synchros just because I'm playing 3 Raiden. First one I'm playing is one Michael, just because Lumina Raiden Michael is really good. He's the only card that actually pays life points. Basically, pay 1,000 life points, banish one card. Your opponent can target one face up card. One card on the field, doesn't have to be face up, and then banish it. So that's really good. And when he dies, you can put all your Lightsworns back in deck, and then gain 300 for each one. So very good. One Black Rose, because Black Rose and then continuing off is like really good. Like, nuke the board and then continue playing the game is really good. I went Clearwing just because he was an option. Like, he's an option if you get in that situation. He's an option. Same with Leo. But Leo has very good versatility in the deck or in the game right now, because the amount of outs to this card, that if your opponent doesn't have back row, it's when you make this guy. There's very little that can swing over this guy right now. There's very little outs to this card. Because he's unaffected. He cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects until you're on my main phase too. So he's really good because like what cards actually do that can target. I mean, yeah, you can actually Fog Blade, but there's very few cards in the game right now that can deal with Leo. So that's what I played. Alright, that's it guys. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.